What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Let's go. Anyway, hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to, what day are we on today? Monday night. Oh my gosh, I don't know what day of the week it is. Welcome back to Monday night. As always, we appreciate you being here. Welcome to the channel. I am the host with the most, the one and only Mr. 2-Bit Crypto. That's me. It's weird when you talk about yourself in the third person. I'm going to do it. You guys know who I am. Anyway, hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to the channel. Like I said, we got a lot to break down tonight. Oil did some stuff, all right? Oil did some stuff today, which is kind of wild if you ask me. And yeah, so we need to kind of get into what's going on and more importantly, break down how this is all playing out. And I think for many people, in my opinion, by the way, for many people, everyone's just a bit like, what the f is actually going on in this market? Like, what is actually going on? Because it's really confusing. People are really confused with exactly kind of, you know, where this market sits and what is happening right now. So we're going to try and dive into it in a little bit tonight. We're going to try and break it down, get into a little bit of the vibe, and try and, you know, for the life of us, really understand how this is all going to sort of wash through and play out. Because I think, you know, at the minute, it's really, really difficult. So many people are going to be FOMOing into the wrong thing. I mean, look at oil, for example. We got this insane spike on oil as futures opened. Everyone's like, oil to the moon. It's going to go to the moon. I mean, obviously, from a price perspective, it's not great. But everyone was like freaking out. And then it's literally dumped to oblivion. Now, if you remember and you go back to the live stream that we were talking about last night, we literally said that was going to happen. We were like, look, people are going to be FOMOing in on these oil shorts. It's going to pump when it opens. People are going to get absolutely wrecked on the shorts. They're then going to dump it from the top. And that's exactly what happened. I mean, it's kind of crazy how obvious some of this stuff is. But you look, sometimes you can't tell people, and unfortunately, they get wrecked, all right? But again, if you're part of this channel, we're trying to do it the right way. We're trying to make sure that you simply don't lose all your money because you either FOMO into something or you make a bad decision. Now, I'm not saying we're going to get every single decision right, but we'll certainly try, okay? And the great thing is we've got a community of people that want to do well and that will share their voice and opinions. So we're going to dive into that tonight. We're going to get into the confusion that is specifically going on the charts. So what are we looking at from an oil perspective? What are we looking at with Iran? Why I think, and it's not often you hear me say this, but why I think Trump's been a little bit deceptive right now. He's kind of giving it the big, like, it's over, we're done, it's all finished. It's so far away from being finished. It's almost insane. So we'll talk about why that is important to reference as well, because I think, you know, these are the sort of things that shake markets up, that make people buy when they shouldn't do, which make people believe that the bottom's not coming, and then all of a sudden everyone then FOMOs in and once again at $72,000 and boom, where everyone's going to get wrecked. And we could be completely wrong, right? We could be totally wrong, but I don't think we are. I don't think we are. Anyway, if that's something you like the sound of, make sure the like and subscribe button. Also, if you're here on TikTok, do give me a tap on the screen. Henrik, thank you so much, my man. And we'll bring the charts up so you guys can see what's going on here as we sort of walk and talk through this. I never know if TikTok where you guys actually want to see the charts or whether you just prefer to see my face. TJ, what's going on, my man? Good to see you. Welcome in. I saw Vern jump in as well. What's going on, Vern? Good to see you, bud. Welcome in. 95% lose money. That is absolutely 100% true. I expect BTC dropped to 56k. So just straight off the bat, by the way, I am actually in a short trade right now, which, I mean, I actually looked like it was doing pretty well. With this big wick down to the downside. But these are the moves that we are talking about. And if you remember, we were sort of discussing this yesterday. Look at this, like, bull flag, absolutely insane. But I think this gets rejected. I think this comes back down. There's no reason for it to bounce off this other than the news that Iran is done. And it's just not true. So, again, watch what happens with this. But just keep you guys posted as to exactly what I'm doing. Like I say, I always kind of like to show you what's going on and stick behind my sentiment and what I'm doing. Because I think so many times people can be a little bit deceptive in this space. Can't they? Oh, I'm super bullish on everything that's going on, and secretly they're not doing anything. So I wanted to kind of just give you the vibes on that. So, but do me a favor though, do share the stream, do hit the like button, do make sure you're chatting in the comments. By the way, I don't know what's going on with YouTube right now, but I basically can't get a video to break 400 views. I don't know what's happening. I don't know if my content's just crap and no one likes it. I don't know, right? I've no idea. So it would be massively appreciative if you could hit the like button. Obviously, that is totally up to you unless you enjoy the content. Okay. Hello, what EMA and MA are those on your screen? So they're currently, the lines are the EMAs that I'm using. So these are the 20-day, which is the big yellow line, the 50, which is the red, the 100, which is the light blue, and then the 200, which is the purple line going across here. And then I also have a couple of other a couple of other premium indicators. So these are the chart prime indicators here that are running down at the bottom, as well as their chart prime oscillator score here as well. So these are just some of the things that I am running here on the channel. Also, just dead quick as well, for many of you guys that were chatting last night, I've secured, I believe, some discount codes for the bot thing I've been using. So hopefully we're going to be able to get you that at like a super discounted rate, which we may fund if you're a channel member. I don't know. We'll sort of work that mechanic through over the course of the next couple of days. I want to see. Did take some more trades today, so I'll show you guys that a little bit later on as well. Okay, so let's get into what's going on right now in the price of BTC. We'll start at the 4-hour chart, because this is what I was looking at thinking, okay, super interesting chart playing out right now, especially when you start to look at like what the Fib's doing and where these kind of price ranges are looking like. I mean, you could probably argue here on the Fibonacci, you probably should take it from the lower range and go to the upper range to sort of get a bit more of a flavor as to where we kind of sit. But actually, price reaction feels better from this way. That's why I did it. But, you know, if you take from the kind of low here as we came down, pretty interesting price activity going on here when it comes to BTC. And this is why I took the short. Now, many people will be like, Tube, you out of your mind? Like, what do you mean? The market's going up. 2 bits up 4.64%. It is, but we all know what happens when we generally get these big pumps in the market. And actually, this was over 6% at one point. So just my personal opinion. I may be wrong. I have a pretty tight stop loss on this short. It's like 50 bucks up here somewhere, I think it is. So yeah, I'm not like super over leveraged on it. It's not the biggest trade in the world. Still in the profit, but again, we'll sort of see where this one goes. But as you can see on the price of BTC, 4% move here on the daily candles. You can see there, strong move to the upside. Retesting the 0.5 Fibonacci, but did get rejected. So it is kind of worth noting here as we sort of play through some more of this, some more of these kind of patterns, that we actually are seeing significant decline here on the price, which is kind of where I get to here. Let's do it on the daily. It's a little bit more favorable there. The 0.5 Fibonacci, you can see there, look, 69,752. Currently did get rejected. Downward sloping trend line as well. So a couple of key things, in my opinion, that I'm hedging my bets that I think this market goes lower, only because I think rejection at the 0.5, rejection of the downward sloping trend line. And in my personal opinion right now, just when you look at like social media, you know, it's Trump's pushing this, and I think it's ahead of CPI. You know, there's no way he can come out and be like, quote, Iran is a, what did he just say? Oh man, I've lost it now. Here we go. Trump on Iran. We took a little excursion because we felt we had to get rid of some evil. I think you'll see it's going to be a short-term excursion. Short-term. I just don't see how it can be. Yes, we are seeing a little bit more oil start to flow through the Straits of Hormuz. Look, you can see the buildup of ships here. Yeah, fine. All right, there's a little bit going through. It's not super crazy though right now. But we'll talk about oil. We'll get into the specifics of why oil is important as we sort of walk through this. But for me, these are where I sit. Now, that doesn't mean that, you know, it can't wick above 69.5, maybe break 70,000 and push on for a, you know, a decent move this evening. We'll take a look at the futures market later on. But, you know, my personal opinion is, you know, this is kind of the trend. Like I said, we could be totally wrong here, but that's kind of what I'm hedging against. And we'll see. These like liquidity moves that are certainly happening in the markets right now are very, very interesting. But you can see that. You really should watch some of Rob Dixon's podcast. It's all about who is running the world and why it's all happening. I think I might know who Rob Dixon is, but I'm not 100% certain, actually. Bitch, if you think you're bad, you should meet the... I don't even know what that is. So, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think so, VHF as well. Like I say, I'm totally aligned to that sentiment, by the way. I believe so. So this is the daily candles here on BTC. Again, lots of things are telling us on the daily for today. Yes, the market did see an uptick in the price. We'll talk about why that is in a little bit. But macro sentiment, in my opinion, is still very much bearish. If we were to break and hold above 70,000 probably this evening, then yeah, I'd maybe, you know, reassess my view of the market. But I'm still very much expectation is down. I'm still, you know, buy orders set 60,000, 58,000, still very much in that place where we're going to get a significant further bite of the cherry. And if Trump thinks it is all over, then I think he's very much misunderstanding potentially what he started. I think, you know, we haven't even got China in the place, Russia allegedly doing something. So yeah, just my personal opinion. Just my personal opinion. Remember, you got to invest in your strategy and how you think this market's going to play out. But we'll talk about some things as to why I think that is in just a minute. What's going on, RW? Good to see you. Now, if we're on a short time frame, let's do the 4 hour as we were sort of touching on right at the very start. Again, we can see the 4 hour push a little bit higher. You know, 69.3, 69.370 got rejected here. So my stop is 69.5. I may just tweak that a little bit, but I don't think I need to just at the minute. We're still under 69.055. Don't forget futures slightly differently priced. So yeah, I mean, we're break even right now. So I'm not stressing this just in a minute. But you can see this downward sloping trend line. It's bearish, like on the 4 hour chart. I don't care what people think. This obviously was the big move coming in last week that we spiked all the way up to 74,000. And then we continued to, excuse me, we continued to come down. And, you know, even if you were to argue that that kind of range that we were touching on here, that says, you know, potentially this becomes the support, then, you know, we're still kind of in this, you know, in this pattern that we've been discussing, this very, very kind of wayward, you know, pendulum that we've got sort of playing out here. So, you know, like I said, doesn't mean that we can't, you know, see some chop, which I think we probably will do in the markets. Equally, you look at the higher range here, when you start to push into the, you know, the kind of range here, look, you see that, you know, 69.5 is about here. So it's at the top end of this very much range that we got on BTC. So if you go on a smaller time frame, 30-minute, you could argue on the 30-minute, we're actually seeing a little bit, you know, of an uptrend here coming in, you know, from the bottom of the day, starting to maybe play a little bit more to the upside, higher highs coming in here on the 30-minute, you know, starting to just, you know, tick up to the upside. But again, you know, you got to understand where we are in the markets. And I think a lot of this, Husky Tom, what's going on, bro? You know, we're seeing some significant movements in altcoins. But as you can see here, we've rejected twice there on that downward sloping trend line. So, you know, we'll see. Maybe we do wake up to around 69.4. Maybe we do. Which is why I'm thinking maybe we just adjust the stop. But, you know, don't need to just at the minute. We'll keep a very close eye on to what happens here. Rejected off that line. Look, see, that's why that line entry point was a really nice entry point here. Look, see how well that's respecting that line, just to keep you posted on that. So we'll see. Equally, this could come down, retest the 20, come back down. You know, we could be retesting 67 quite comfortably very, very soon, which I think is my TP1 on that trade. So again, we'll see. But I mean, a lot of stuff. You can see here the chart prime oscillator is telling us potential downside is coming. Consolidating and prime score at 5 means that we are, yes, trending sideways. We're not seeing too much in the world of volatility, but, you know, still very much a volatile market out there, in my opinion. What's good on, Beebs? Good to see you, man. Welcome in. Stu's in the house. Welcome in. Always good to have you guys here. Like I said, don't forget, smash up the like button to brand new all-time high. And also, if you haven't subscribed, then highly recommend doing so. Likewise, if you're here on TikTok, then do give us a couple of taps on the screen and hit that follow button. That would be greatly, greatly appreciated. Okay, total market cap 2.34 trillion. Again, looking pretty solid on the 30-minute. We'll stick here once again on the 12-hour. You know, maybe it wicks high 2.38. Doesn't feel like it. Rejection here off the 50 probably tells us we're coming back down. So, you know, nothing to kind of shoot home about. The interesting one is the total altcoin market, which is everything excluding BTC minus stable. Yes, we're still seeing a nice little trend here, but, you know, you've got a very, very, very subtle uptrend starting to come in here on this one. So the fact is that alts are moving just a little bit, okay? Just a little bit, which we'll touch on in just a second. So that's kind of where BTC sits. When we look at some altcoins, you know, again, Ethereum, we've sort of been discussing this for a while. Look, still doing absolutely jack shit. As much as people might be like, oh, markets are going to go kaboom. Like, here we go. We're off to the races. There's too much geopolitical stuff going on. Too much nervousness out there in the market, I think, personally, like I said, which in my view means that we probably trade within this range. So we'll see. If you look at the one-day RSI, you see the higher low. Man, thanks for that. Steven in the house. Scott's nodes. How are we doing, pal? Yeah, we're great, mate. Thank you so much. So yeah, I mean, ETH on the daily. So I don't have the RSI indicator at the bottom here. It all forms part of this kind of chart prime indicator that I have. But I mean, you could argue that maybe the RSI is starting to push up a little bit, but you know, the indicator I have as a macro daily is telling us that this is actually a downtrend. And if we print tomorrow and actually we see this kind of continue to push to the upside, then maybe, you know, maybe we start to see this kind of move out here. But yeah, I mean, you've got the head and shoulders, left shoulder, head, right shoulder sort of playing out here. Equally, you've got, you know, you've obviously got the W pattern sort of playing out, which again, may bring us up to this range before pushing to the downside. You know, difficult one to sort of, you know, view, in my opinion. I think a lot is driven by what's going on here and equally what is going on with Trump as well, specifically. So a couple of altcoins. I don't know if you guys saw, by the way, that I did put a new video out today did this, slightly different video than I've been doing. Like I said, we're just trying a few things, trying to, get back into the algorithm. I don't know why the algorithm hates me at the minute, but it really does for whatever reason. I don't know why. But yeah, go and check it out, by the way. If you haven't seen it, my picks on altcoins for, this kind of next move. So my top 4, it's not even AI. That's why. AI altcoins. It's not meant to be AI altcoins. It was just altcoin. Oh, my God's sake. Take 2-bit. Okay, let me change that. Anyway, it's top 4 altcoins that I think that are worth looking at. Interestingly, there's like 2 of them that I picked that the video went out and they've absolutely skyrocketed, which is hilarious. Sui was one of them. I'm not going to tell you what the other ones were, but go watch the video. I recommend it. It's good. I saw the video, 2-bit solid picks. Thanks, Beebs. Thanks, mate. Yeah, I think they're good picks. And what's interesting is that they've all seemed to be moving today as well, which I think is highly hilarious. So yeah, CTSI and CELR. Scotsman, like it. Like your style, bro. Like your style. So that's kind of where we sit with we were talking about Ethereum, weren't we, dead quick? So that's where we sort of sit with Ethereum and the broader crypto market. Other coins to think about, like I said, we had a nice move on Sui today. Again, this is the thing. People are like, oh my God, Sui's moved 10%. You're like, who cares? It's literally marginally above the 20-day EMA. So right now, I'm not sure we'll see it. If you see the bottom of 5th of April and now March, you see, so are you in a world where you think you need to more back to the other bottom? Okay, it looks like head and shoulders. Okay, Bruce, 2 seconds. We'll come back to the chart on that and take a look at it in a minute. So yeah, anyway, we'll sort of see. But yeah, Sui, a nice little push up here on the daily, which is kind of interesting. A couple of others. Look, Junction, we talked about this yesterday. The fact that, Junction potentially then starts to drag Jasmy up, doing nearly 7% on the day. I know some people were freaking out a little bit. I mean, you could argue here, like, Jasmy's starting to get to a pretty, take out the cup and handle, but, starting to see a little bit of an interesting play here on Jasmy. So, you might get a little bit of a move here. If Janction starts to come in like it is, doing 7% there on on Jasmy, starting to, give a little bit back, which is kind of nice. And then I still think there's a couple of undervalued ones. Will it be financial? I still think is undervalued just based on what it's going to do. Hyperliquid, we've been talking about this for ages. Look at this. Look at this. Look, that was what we put on there yesterday. Absolutely freaking called it. I mean, come on, bro. Look at this. Absolutely called this breakout here on Hyper. So yeah, shame we weren't trading this, but yeah, look at that. Nice breakout here. So watch this one. This, measured move here, where would you expect Hyper to get to? Probably that range there, 35, 51, potentially. You're going to see that push. Nice little breakout there on Hyper, like we touched on that yesterday. But again, another one of my picks that could be good for 2026. Meme coin's still pretty flat. And then let's talk a little bit here on just a couple of key things. Gold continuing to struggle, albeit, and people will say, well, 2-bit still going up. Yes, all right, fine, it's still going up. I will give you that, definitely. So we can see gold just, clinging on for dear life to the upside, silver clinging as well. But what's the story of the day? Well, the story of the day is this. Look how insane this is. So many people got fucking wrecked on this. Got wrecked, okay? It is important and it is worth it. We literally said this last night on the stream. Go and watch it. We said gold futures are going to open. It's going to pump and people are going to get nuked. And that is literally exactly what happened. Look how insane that move is on gold. On oil. Everyone was like freaking out. Straits of Hormuz is closed. Like, you don't think like Trump's coming out today going, look, it's nearly over. Like, everything's kind of cool. You've got like an armada of French aircraft carriers, Scholz de Gaulle, bloody aircraft carriers going, some other aircraft carriers going. They've just quadrupled productions of munitions. Like, it's not nearly over. Like, it's naive to believe, in my opinion, by the way. Kite AI, someone was telling me about that the other day. Rick says, Jasmy, we make you rich. I need to take my jumper off dead quick, everybody. Like, it's literally the warmest place on the planet right now. So just give me literally 10 seconds and we're going to have to just yeet this. I don't think anyone else can see me. Otherwise, it ends up being some sort of weird Twitch hot tub stream, which we're not about. We're not about those weird hot tub streams. All right. So don't worry, we're back. Look at that. Boom. Shakalaka. Boom, shakalaka, shakalaka. Right, let me just put this on here. And yeah, hopefully you can hear me again, TikTok. But yeah, so this is kind of super interesting because you've got all this hardware going to Iran. What, you just think it's over? Like, give over. You are literally killing yourself. And this is why I think you're going to see more volatility. It wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me one bit, actually. If you could really just see what was going on, that, Trump didn't like short this, or that there wasn't some sort of, deal being cut. There was something. I actually generally think it's a bit like, God, we need to kind of curb oil. Like oil's out of control right now. Because when you look at ships that have gone through this, yes, there's been a bit more going through. Yes, we've definitely seen a little bit more in terms of passage, but that isn't the big deal. The back end of the week is the big deal because that's when we'll actually start to see the impact of whether this truly is starting to move oil through there as well. Pretty interesting. So yeah, anyone seen the bear token run to 75 billion? That'd be pretty wild. It's got a leg up soon. I found FOMO'd into gold and silver the day the bombing started doing nothing but drop things. Mouse, don't go into Mouse. Did you buy the gold, the oil? You were asking about oil last night as well. Please tell me you didn't go into oil, Mouse. Mouse, I need to come and get a pizza for you. Don't say you went into oil, bro. Would you give me your thoughts on Superverse? Yes. If you stick with us for a little bit, we'll take a look at that at the end of the show. We normally do it in about 20 minutes. We'll take a look at that. CPI is Wednesday, I believe. Beebs, not tomorrow. Wednesday. Bruce says, what does Bruce want? Bruce is super bullish on Ethereum right now. You can also do the weekly pattern, then you see the double bottom on your indicator. Okay, you want to look at Ethereum. Let's look at Ethereum on a broader scale. What do you want to look at it on? The weekly charts? What are you looking at here? 2-day chart? Are you saying that ETH's at a double bottom right now? Because I would disagree with you personally. I think ETH comes down a little bit lower yet. Because even if you went super macro here, you've got the head and shoulders pattern, which, you know, you could argue consolidation is kind of sitting there. But, you know, my view is that, you know, I definitely think ETH probably falls. It's just my opinion. You know, look, we could be wrong, but if the market pushes down as we believe it's going to, based on a lot of the stuff we've thought, and by the way, the fact that Trump's come out and said, like, oh, it's going to be over soon. If this isn't, get ready because you're going to definitely see this kind of problem. The problem you have with this specific pattern here is that this is a bearish pattern that many people don't understand, okay? Because this is the entry into this pattern, which is bearish, okay? So maybe you see this. Generally speaking, you get a continuation to the downside off this pattern. So it is worth noting that you normally do see this. Now, we could get a reversal. You know, we could definitely start to see the potential of a move back to the upside. But, I mean, do I see the bottom? I mean, this is the bottom here that I would argue. Back here in 2025, this is where markets really came down, which, you know, you could argue and say, well, let's go from the top to the bottom. Where do we get to? We're slightly above the 236, 2231. You'd want to go a little bit lower here, probably off a slightly different push down, which would have been the last measured move, which would be like here or somewhere, wouldn't it? You know, which you could argue the 236 at 1852 could be the bottom. Could be the bottom. Yes, you're saying this indicator is now presenting us here on the 2-day chart that we are actually starting to see a little bit more bullish momentum to the upside, which again, you know, look, I'm not going to disagree with you, but I feel, and historically, this pattern is bearish, generally speaking. That's kind of what you get with this kind of view. But yeah, I mean, there is an argument for it right now. The trouble you've got right now is you have to take a little bit more of a bit more about a macro sentiment. You were wrong about BTC yesterday. Was I? Was I wrong about yesterday? Do you mean in my video on the live stream? We literally said, like, watch out for BTC to move on the open. On the 1 hour, it makes a cup and handle. And by the way, I still think BTC comes down, by the way. I'm not denying that. I mean, yeah, all right, it's up 4.5%, but you don't understand it. The reason why it's up so much is because people absolutely nuked the oil chart. Nuked it. I mean, look at that. That is a shambles right now. And then you saw people absolutely FOMOing into BTC. So, yeah. Temporary bottom around 71, then 50s. See, Matty Ghost knows what's up. I mean, look, that's my view, by the way. I think that we see this kind of, you know, push down in my opinion. Certainly where we sit there with BTC for sure. And, you know, look, we've got some pretty big data coming in. You can see here, look, we are currently, let's go on to what are we looking at here? The 4-hour chart. So, yeah, you get a little bit of rejection there off that line. On Weex, by the way, it's where I've been doing loads of my trading. If you are interested in join me over on Weex. The oil dip is temporary. Miles, if the oil dip is temporary, then BTC is definitely going to go down further. Then you can join me on Weex, by the way. Link in the description. Also, it's in the pinned bio in my Discord as well. So, yeah. It marked a reverse head and shoulders, bro. Okay, cool. Yeah, fine. I'm not discussing Ethereum for the next hour. If you're going long on ETH, all the best. Do you know what I mean? That's where I'm at. And by the way, I'm not saying that there isn't an opportunity to make some money out there. I'm definitely not. Because there is. But yeah, if you're long on ETH, good luck. That's what I would say to you. And hopefully you do it. Hopefully you get it, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, look, it is, isn't it? I mean, let's just face it. Let's just face it. Saeed, what's going on, bro? Troops on the ground were going to go down. Well, I mean, troops aren't... I don't believe troops are on the ground, are they yet? BTC's the same. Shut up, Bruce. Welcome, everybody. Bruce to the show, everybody. Come on, Bruce. Come live with me. You can do the tier section. You've been saying XRP to $1. When do you think that'll happen? I haven't said XRP. Find a video where I've said XRP to $1 in the last 6 months, because I haven't. I literally, in fact, I could even find that, because I haven't said XRP to $1 for fucking God knows how long. God knows how long. It ain't me that says that. It ain't me. Maybe if you went about 8 months ago, perhaps, but yeah. I actually have been talking about the fact that I feel this market's going down, maybe $1.20. Oh dear. Anyway, right. So we'll keep an eye on what's going on, by the way. Let's talk about some of the stuff as to why it's potentially going to see a push down, in my opinion. Okay. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled on that. I closed my leverage on BTC at 67K, waiting for a 71K. Add another shot. My ghost. Let's get it. What's your thoughts on XRP? I like XRP. I've always said XRP could be the altcoin that many people simply forget about in a bear market, and before they know it, zoom, off it goes. I've always said that. Where do you think Brent crude heads to from here? I mean, I think they're going to... Well, here's the problem, right? Here's the problem. It's not necessarily about the Brent crude price. It's whether you believe Trump or not. That's my opinion on oil. The reason oil is coming back is essentially what you've got is Trump going, it's fine. It's all nearly over. The Straits of Hormuz, this is the live picture right now of the Straits of Hormuz, by the way. This is all fine. Like, it's fine. It's all going through. So... no, I mean, look, I'm saying 6 months ago I would have done. I don't really do price specifics. I'm not like one of these crazies that's like XRP to $1,000 or, I do think the market pushes down though. And I've been talking about buy orders and I've been talking about where I think people should be set. We've been discussing BTC. So I absolutely believe the market's going to down. In fact, I'm convinced that the market is going to come down. It's crazy to me that people are in the world of going, oh, like the bear market's over. The shortest bear market in the history of cryptocurrency doesn't seem like it's going to play out, in my opinion. But yeah, CryptoFi, if you assume that everything's rosy and this is all going to start to move and that all of a sudden, the Iranian regime is like, oh yeah, we're not going to attack any ships. Like, don't worry about it. Like, it's all fine. Like, we're cool. And that they've rolled over. Now, allegedly, there was reports that they've killed the new Supreme Leader's son. Maybe that's a thing. But I just think it's incredibly naive to believe that all of a sudden, within, 13 days, it's done. Like, it's just over. I don't know. Something doesn't quite feel right, in my opinion. But so this is kind of why you had this big push down. So obviously, everyone's freaking out. Another week of, Trump attacks. And then everyone's going, oh, it's actually fine. Like, everything's running through the Straits of Hormuz. Like, don't worry about it. Venezuelan oil's coming. Like, we've got a stockpile of 300 billion barrels. Like, it's absolutely fine. Easy to say and difficult to deliver. So important to think about that. And like I said, we can get into a little bit more on it. But yeah, Trump's making a big thing right now, basically saying, quote, Iran operation going to end pretty quickly. It doesn't, like I said, I'm getting hung up on this. It doesn't feel like it. And I can't believe that we've gone from yesterday, which was bombing of oil depots and everyone's freaking out, to it's pretty much going to be over this week. I mean, who knows? Maybe I'm totally wrong and the market's kind of skyrocket. But if you get a pump up in oil, you're getting a dump in BTC. All right. It is worth thinking about specifically in that point. Okay. That is the charts. Let's take a quick look at what's going on in the broader markets as BTC starts to come down exactly as we kind of expected it would do off that initial rejection there on the downward sloping trend line. Does it mean it prints? Don't know. We'll see. We're nearly back down to this level here and probably back down within there. So that short is actually doing pretty good. Oil is an easy long, bro. Maybe, Bob. I mean, people would have said that yesterday. People would have said there was an easy long at 110 and look what happened to them. They just got liquidated. So I think that the problem with oil is it's going to be so driven by Trump's narrative, in my opinion. So, I mean, look, it could do. Think about it. He could come out and be like, yeah, it's pretty much over. Like I said, don't make me feel like it. Will the G7 leaders releasing reserves be enough to keep the price of crude oil? Well, again, maybe. The problem you've got a little bit, though, is that these reserves are all a bit of a con and that actually people don't have what they say they have. Look at the US, for example. I don't know if I can get the US reserve up. but there isn't actually as much in there that people think. Yes, there is some, but I don't know if it's as big as many people believe, which if it isn't, then that is a problem, because ultimately that's when it starts to get pretty tasty. We looked at that, didn't we? Asian oil reserves. Oh, here we go. So the strategic petroleum number, this is kind of where it sits right now. Like it's a 40-year low, back end of 2024 into 2025. So you think about this is kind of where it is. I mean, they're hedging a lot of this. Kirby, do you trade gold? No, not really. No, not really. BTC, yes. Couple of altcoins, yes, but not really gold or Forex. I used to do a little bit on MetaTrader, but I'm like all in on crypto right now. So yeah. Yeah, that's the point. People throwing along. I mean, yeah, exactly, Bob. Sorry, yeah, you're in the world of going like loads of people got liquidated, so potentially they're going to go in. Maybe. It could end with another unfinished war. I mean, possibly, Matty, yeah. Possibly. I'm up on my Sui purchase over the weekend. Let's go. I mean, Sui's doing pretty well, in fairness. Sui's doing pretty well, but yeah, interesting here on BTC. Okay, let's talk about a couple of other bits then that is kind of driving in. So, a historic moment, everybody, as well. Worth noting here, by the way. Today marked the 20 millionth Bitcoin ever to enter circulation. That's pretty good news, isn't it? 20 million Bitcoin now officially in circulation is a good news story. So, yeah, shout out to everybody if you are bullish on BTC. Great news, because officially now we're in that place where we've got them. So again, this is kind of good news if you ask me. And yeah, like I said, bullish. All right, a little bit of facts there for you. You know, they're 20 million and 3.125, and you've got just under 1 million Bitcoin left to mine. 95.238% of the total Bitcoin has now been issued, with over 450 Bitcoin per day. Obviously, that'll change in the next couple of years, but, you know, it's a good point. Like, think about it. Bitcoin's running out. People don't get this narrative. Like, Bitcoin is officially running out. All right, groovy. Groovy. Okay, so what else we got going on? Bitcoin versus Brent crude oil. This kind of goes to the narrative that I was talking about very, very early on. And I'm just going to move you slightly out, TikTok, so you can see kind of what's going on. This kind of applies to the narrative that we've been discussing, or more specifically, how this is playing out. Historically, whenever you get a spike in price of oil, you generally get a push down in BTC. You can look at this predominantly over the course of the last number of years, with the exception being a bull market cycle. So for example, 2017, you can see the price of BTC was going up, generally speaking, and correlated to the price of oil. However, when we come out of that, we generally then see a price push down as oil continues to the upside. Move on to 2021, you can see both rally at the same time. What you got is the correction on BTC while oil continued to the upside. So historically speaking, we generally do get spikes in oil, which correlate to downside moves in the price of BTC. Man, the short is kind of holding up pretty well. So yeah, worth noting on that specifically. So, you know, if oil was to spike, as people think it will, it's got on fair ground. When you say the market is shorted, what does that mean simplistically? People think price is going to go down more than it's going to go up. I actually, by the way, think it's the other way. I think people think this market's going to rally, and so many people are shouting that like the bear market's over. Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. If anything from the bull market taught us, the fact that we were about 2 weeks out from calling the top, we missed it by 2 weeks, then you can apply the same logic to the bear market, and we are not making the same mistake again, which is the fact that the bear market is probably going to run for at least another 150 days. Doesn't mean that it's going to push down further for 150 days, but it does mean the general sentiment would be that it would go down. It would be the insane, you know, most insane thing in the world if we were like, yep, bottom's already in, 60K, done. All right, it took about a month to get there, huh? Yeah, cool. Cool. What's going on, Wayne? Good to see you, man. Good old Wayne. Welcome in, buddy. So yeah, anyway, worthwhile thinking about here on the price of BTC. Now, obviously, many people talk about the fact that we believe market's going to go down. And, you know, CryptoCon here giving us a very interesting view, saying this: the age-old saying is don't fight the trend. In this case, I think that's the halving cycle. People fought tooth and nail for a breakdown of the 4-year cycle all the way up to the last bull market at 23 to 25, and it turned out just as it always did. Now the bear market is underway and every low. Unsurprisingly, people are calling for the end early. The consecutive candles has just put in its second 7 of the bear market, with 1 more to go and many months before that can happen. The 4-year cycle is too obvious, yet it always finds a way to hide in plain sight. The best way to look at that, by the way, would be to go in something like the 5-day chart and just say, well, where and what does it look like right now? And yeah, arguably, it looks like it's going down further. And it looks like we've got further to come, especially if you look at this from previous cycles. Again, you know, the big spike down, the relief rally that traps everyone, and then gazinga, down we go to the bottom, and then we sort of get to here. So, you know, this would make no sense if this was the bottom, in my personal opinion. Again, I could be totally wrong, and you guys can long the shit out of this market and be buying as much as you possibly can. Now, by the way, just my personal opinion, actually. Do you buy in a bear market? Yes. It is the best time to buy. And actually the best strategy to buy in a bear market is just to hedge your bets. Like if you're buying Bitcoin at 60, 61, 62, that's going to be pretty good value. And you just make sure you've got enough capital to buy at 58, 57, 56, 40K, 30K if we go that low. I mean, I don't personally subscribe to that channel, but, you know, that's kind of where we get. But, you know, this arguably is playing out pretty much on the money as this here is. So, you know, this kind of blow off the top, down we come, relief rally, down lower. You know, look at this. Down off the top, relief rally, down lower. And then, you know, we'll see a bit of chop, but this is kind of where we get to before we then hit the bottom, and then we start to move to the back side. That's, like I said, that's just my opinion. I could totally be wrong. But I think a lot of stuff feels like it's going that way. Always the best time to buy. Yeah, definitely buying in a bear market is way better than buying a bull market. Just my opinion, all right? Just my opinion. Now, doesn't mean that, you know, there isn't some bullish news out there. And I think what's always important to reference, how do you know you're in a bear market? Because everyone's starting to position themselves when the market changes. And so many people neglect this fact as well, is that like people just think, well, bull market's here and everyone's FOMOing $200 million worth, which by the way is what Michael Saylor bought into the market today. But what you do and what you are seeing here is, interestingly enough, the NASDAQ and Kraken partnering up to be a pretty bullish partnership here, helping develop infrastructure for tokenized stocks, allowing traditional equities to be represented and traded on the blockchain network. There is an absolute desperation to tokenize stocks on blockchains. Pretty interesting, yeah? The system aims to connect regulated financial markets with on-chain infrastructure. Pretty wild, if you ask me. And Kraken right now feels to be just at the center of everything. We talked about it yesterday. You know, we certainly got in this kind of world of, you know, Kraken being at the heart of some stuff that's going on. It's pretty insane if you ask me. How many days a month do these cycles normally last? Bear markets are normally 365 to 400 days. Normally. They can be shorter, they can be a little bit longer, but if you take the last 4 cycles, historically they act about a year. But bear in mind, you're basing on 4 cycles worth of data. So it's not like the craziest thing in the world. But it is worth noting here, by the way. Just a quick shout out, by the way, if you haven't already hit the like button, definitely hit the like button. Share the stream out with everybody. Would massively appreciate it. Likewise, if you're here on TikTok as well, do tap the screen. I am here, by the way, TikTok. Yo! But more of you are kind of enjoying the screen that you can see, which we are trying to resolve. It's just a bit of a challenge. But yeah, hit the like button. Tap in a couple of likes. Would massively appreciate that. And yeah, share it with a friend also, would be great. Tim with a gifted membership. Thank you so much, Tim. Appreciate that. Who's crypto? Get involved. Let me know if you're in our Discord. Link in the description and in the bio. We'll give you access to our premium Discord. That's the trade bots, trade signals, call alerts, everything else you could possibly need. All right. So yeah, check it out. All right. So Kraken going, good news. Bitcoin supply breakdown by longer-term holders. Now, interesting enough, this is actually showing that, yes, potentially we are about to head to the bottom of the market. All right. Short-term holders are starting to slowly decelerate their selling, which again is good news. All right. I do not do this full time. And do I pay taxes? Yes. Yes, I do. No, I don't do it full time. I would love to do it full time, but as this current phase of the cryptocurrency market is showing that we've probably seen a 300% decline in views here on the channel, which is proving to be quite challenging to be motivated. But yeah, I don't do it full time. I actually have a full-time job in which I manage like £1 million a week business with over 400 people. So yeah, that's what I do through the week. So yeah, shout out to everybody. And we do this as a bit of a fun hobby thing. But how do taxes work? They're done on gains and conversions. So if you make money on a cryptocurrency trade or on a particular coin, then you will pay capital gains tax. If you're UK based, by the way, we actually have some stuff. There's some videos on my channel talking about taxes and all the rest of it. So I highly recommend going and checking that out. But yeah, short-term holders, by the way, looking like they are going to slow down their selling, which could mark the bottom. That doesn't mean it's going to be tomorrow. Okay, I think people get hung up on time scales. Hey, all good. Kirby, welcome. We're here every day, by the way, with the exception of Saturdays, breaking down this market, keeping you guys locked in. Like I said, we don't take any time off unless I've got like another work pre-arrangement. But yeah, stay tuned. All right. Long-term holders, important to think about. So these are all kind of playing into this narrative right now here of where we sit on BTC. And, you know, in my opinion, gold being a good example, oil being a good example, that people are going to get wrecked on this market. Again, it's just my view. People might call me crazy, but feels like that is kind of how it's all playing out, in my opinion. By the way, if you are in the stream and you're trying to join our Discord, it is super easy. You simply do /verify and you will get in. So many of you, for whatever reason, can't do it. And I don't understand why you can't do it. If you can't do it, then you can't come in the Discord because it's literally the easiest thing in the world. Because we stop people like this. Apparently, 2Bit Crypto has tried to join our Discord. Get out of here, 2Bit Crypto. By the way, I do not DM anyone if you are in the stream. It is dead simple. /verify in the start here section. It's going to then bring you a code up. And you can literally copy and paste that code and you can simply put it into the Discord. It will verify you. It'll give you another role and then we'll give you full access to our channel. All right. It's dead simple. Okay. It is dead simple. So like Donald earlier on today, you got in. So let me just do that. Yeah, Donald, you are now officially in, my man. Dead simple. All right. Dead simple. Okay. So I am watching the Discord as well. Gibbsy, if you are here, it is literally the easiest thing in the world. You should have DCA'd more. Man, hype is up 13%. Yeah, hype's going crazy right now. Absolutely skyrocketing. Yeah, I think I think this could be like a $100 coin easily, top end of it. Easily. Yeah, you're just typing verify /verify. /verify, it brings you a code up, and then you literally just copy and paste that into the chat box in the start here section. Boom, you're in. All right, dead simple. Dead simple to do. So, yeah. Where do you think is a good level to add? Pump, man, pump. Yeah, it's definitely one I've been looking at getting involved, in fairness. I mean, let's look at it here on a slightly higher time frame. Now, it's definitely in a downward trend. Oh, did you get it? No, he did not get it. You need to do /verify and then that code. Why do people I don't understand why people struggle so much with this. It's so easy. I think it's easy anyway, which is why I just refuse to let people in the Discord if they can't do it. Because it literally tells you exactly what to do. Gibbs, if you're in the chat, let me know. If you're in the YouTube chat, let me know. Or if you're in the TikTok chat, then I will then I can do it a different way. Does it not worry you that cryptocurrency isn't regulated currency? No, doesn't worry me at all. Why? Because I choose to go in. And if you ever want to look at an argument as to why I think cryptocurrency is fine, go and research fractionalized banking and understand that the banking system everyone gets involved in is the biggest scam on the planet. So if you wanted to, my argument for why is cryptocurrency fine is understand what fractionalized banking is. Like, it's awful. It's awful. So yeah. Thanks, Craig. I can see you helping out. So I am watching, but it is literally the most simple thing in the world, and I just don't understand why people struggle so much with it. It's just my opinion, but hey. I can't verify. Okay, is that you that's trying to do it? It's literally the easiest thing in the world, but because you typed in there, I can just quickly verify you. So there you go. Yeah, I verified you. But it is literally the easiest thing in the world. Surely commodity is safer, but yeah, but equally you can't make 50x your returns on commodities. And look what happened in gold, by the way. Look what happened in oil. You could have got into that today and got absolutely demolished on it. So right now, Tim, just to answer your question, 2017 is where I think the low is. So you could argue and say, well, I think this market could push down a little bit. And you could even say, well, look, if you take away the noise here, what have you got? You've got a pretty downward sloping trend line here, which probably takes us along to mark the bottom. And as you can see here, look, we got the entrance point here. So I think market pushes down. I believe that an entry at 1.7 might be an interesting here on pump. I do think it's a riskier play just based on the nature of it. It's competing with a bonk. It's meme coins. Is meme coins going to be a big cycle next move? Maybe not. But yeah, I think if I was setting some buy orders here, like I'd be here, I'd probably be slightly lower as well, just as a kind of wick down, 1.620, for example. Bear in mind, look at that. That was the wick down there on October 10th. down to around 1496. So, you know, be mindful of where that is. Yeah, the lawsuit's important, but again, you've got to think it's a lot of pro crypto, and they've got so much money. Like, think about it. Like, money talks in law, doesn't it? As crazy as it can be, but yeah, might as well just throw the money away, Tim. I mean, look, it's not one of those I'd be holding for the moon, but I think it's got some upside potential. Definitely. We've been talking about some of the coins that are on my mind. Sui, Hyperliquid. I did buy a little bit more Pepe, DCAing to a little bit of Pepe, because I mean, under 4, it's like, might as well. Do you know what I mean? Might as well. I don't even need a lot. And I obviously have my Pepe staked, so I'm earning about 180,000 Pepe every single day right now. So, yeah, worth it in my opinion. Canton's the other one, by the way, that I think could be a nice mover, but again, for the reasons that I talked about in that video. So go and check that video out, because that'll give you my, you know, view as to why I think Canton could be a good one. But again, interesting that Canton's broke below this trend right now. I mean, look at that. It's kind of wild, isn't it? It's kind of wild right now. Broke below the trend. Where are we coming to? Maybe even this low range here. You know, a couple of buy order set here. Look at around 1.4. Might be an interesting buy here on Canton Network. They've got a lot of stuff coming as well. Like I say, I was researching it quite extensively yesterday, but look at where some of this fib lines up as well. The 618 there around 14.3 could be the next point. Lose the fib, head down here, 0.5 at 12.709. This is where we talk about if you were buying into this, you know, then we could, you know, you would buy a little bit here, buy a little bit here, 100-day EMA potential retest, you know, kind of gives you an idea of what it looks like. Thoughts on gold scalping? I mean, I don't really scalp, but if you're good at it, crack on. You understand there's so much money goes into the gold market to move it though. Like, think about gold, for an example, where it is. Even if you looked at it on like the 30-minute, let's look at it on the 30-minute chart. So you're looking at, you know, you're scalping this. I mean, what are you doing here for a move? I mean, the best you could argue 1.8%. Like, how much are you actually going to be trading on this gold market to even move that 1.8 to make any sort of gains on it? Would be my, you know, it's kind of my view on it. Doesn't mean you can't scalp gold, by the way. I'm not saying you can't, by the way, but, you know, it's such a big market cap that it takes so much money to move it. You just have to be mindful. But the buybacks can end if the platform gets out of the trend mood. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Helicopter, what's going on, buddy? Gold market went from 22 trillion USD to 33 trillion during this mad pump. Yeah, exactly. But think about that. Like, think about, I mean, just, you know, you got an ounce here, haven't you? So $5,136 per ounce. Think about how, so, you know, think about what that would look like. So let's say, for example, you're trying to scalp this, okay? So let's take the low here. The low here at 5,046. So you'd have to put $5,000 in here to make 120 bucks. Think about that. It's fucking insane. Like, you got to be buying gold to hold it for like 10 years. And that's why I think, like, you know, something like gold's not worth it. Now you could argue maybe silver's a slightly more, you know, interesting asset to get involved in, but, you know, that's why I choose to get involved in the crypto market. I just think it's a way better opportunity if you can trade this market. Man, this short's kind of doing all right. This short's kind of giving us a little bit of money back, which is kind of nice. So yeah, definitely printing to the downside a little bit. I mean, that wick down again. Look at that, 68.6 that wick down to. Wow, to the low range here. That's a pretty interesting one. So yeah, I mean, this kind of moves a little bit now, doesn't it? You could argue you sort of then start to print this little. I mean, I still think this is in kind of a, this kind of is a very much in a bear, in a pennant formation, which again, if this rejects here right now, then yeah, expectation is we're probably going to see this go lower. Look at that. You know, you've got this kind of, what did I just do then? You've got this kind of really obvious move here. Why is that? What is going on here? What? Why is it not drawing on this chart? What is happening here? What the fuck is going on? Yeah, there we go. Why is this not drawing on the chart? I don't understand what is happening here. Anyway. Okay, for whatever reason, I can't draw on it. Anyway, you get my point here. We'll see. If it gets rejected off this line, then, you know, still a pretty interesting chart as to where this plays out for. Do you hold crypto long-term? Sorry, what are you saying? Do you hold crypto long-term or do you make several transactions? No. So I have like, a lot of my portfolio is still held in, like I'm staking, like my Aerodrome, my Solana. I'm staking, what else am I staking? Pepe, staking some USDT at the minute. So yeah, Monad, I like Monad, Beebs. Yeah, 4% up on the day. So I have like longer term bags. The bag man, what's going on, buddy? I have the longer term bag holds, and then like I just trade with a little bit here on Weex or Bitunix. Links in the description if you're interested to get involved in those. Dead simple. So yeah, that's kind of what we do right now. Again, it's all about having a diverse portfolio, being able to pivot as to what you need to do, etc., etc., etc. So yeah, I mean, look at this structure here on BTC. Actually feels like we may get a move, but I want to see this retest up this at 69.3, and the longer this kind of goes on, the more we sort of see this, the more I expect us to kind of reject here at this upper range. So yeah, worth thinking about. Worth thinking about. Like I said, we could totally be wrong on this as well, but yeah, interesting. That's a lot of money. Yeah, it's absolutely insane, VHF. I mean, think about it. Like, to move gold, it's just requires such a lot of money to get involved in to make such a little amount, in my opinion, anyway. Just in my opinion. Okay, so we've done that. We've done oil. We can close all these down. A couple of news stories for you guys, dead quick, which is around Why is this here? Come on, bro. Bitcoin supply shrinking on exchanges. No surprise, as we see the continuation of, some of these kind of bigger buys coming in, and certainly this kind of demand here. Spot ETFs, corporate treasuries now hold a significant share of BTC supply. And also, don't forget, $200 million bought by MicroStrategy today. So they were coming in pretty fresh. And then, like we said here, look, BTC, why did it crash to 67,000? Ethereum, it's all to do with the fact that the oil trade and spot Bitcoin ETFs boosting rally and draining liquidity. Forget all this kind of extra capital swinging around and people dumping it into gold and futures and all this kind of stuff, generally is just liquidity moving around the market. There's not a lot of new liquidity coming in right now. So, that's the problem. That is the problem. Helped stretch Bitcoin's climb as roughly 74,000 intraday March 4th. Tone changed quickly. March 5th, spot ETFs had flipped the net outflow by about $227 million. So again, worth thinking about. All, by the way, tied to the fact that we are expecting this kind of Trump administration, like ending of the war, which, I mean, is kind of wild. It's sort of come out of nowhere. I mean, there's a statement here. It's only a 53-second statement. Let's listen to it because I haven't actually listened to it. So let's do that. I'm going to put it over here because obviously TikTok gets a bit weird about stuff like this. So let me just click this. I haven't actually heard this yet. So let's just listen into this dead quick. You guys should be able to see that coming up on your screen for YouTube. Okay, let's listen into what he has to say and then we'll react to it afterwards.
Iran's drone and missile capability is being utterly demolished. The Navy is gone. It's all lying at the bottom of the ocean. 46 ships. Can you believe it? In fact, I got a little upset with our people. I said, what quality of ship? Excellent, sir. Top of the line. I said, why did we just capture the ship? We could have used it. Why did we sink them? They said, it's more fun to sink them. I said, they like sinking them better. They say it's safer to sink them. I guess it's probably true. But think of it, we knocked out 46, and actually took 3.5 days. Their terrorist leaders are gone. We're counting down the minutes until they will be gone. Think of it, we had leaders, and they're gone. Then we had new leaders, and they're gone. And now nobody has any idea who the people are that are going to be the head of the country. Yeah.
Okay, there you go. So, I mean, I'm just struggling to understand where this whole, like, oh, it's fine, like, oil's absolutely going to be great. Don't make oil great again. And I don't know if I'm just missing something here, but maybe I am. Trump says we're striking Iran's Navy. We don't have to capture... Okay, we captured the ship here. We just said that, didn't we? So, yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'm just missing something, by the way, other than the fact that he's basically said, yeah, it's going to be fine. Don't worry about it. We're going to be done soon. We're going to be done soon, everybody. Shit. What is oil futures doing right now? Just dead quick. Brent oil futures. So, I mean, potentially $98 a barrel. Like, futures look like they're going to spike again. If they spike, BTC generally comes down. I mean, look, we can add the BTC price to this, actually. Let's see what this looks like. BTC against oil. Yeah, so look at this. So if we get a dump in oil, we get a spike in BTC, and then if we get a spike in oil, a spike in BTC, we get a dumping oil. Pretty interesting, right? So if we go to, let's go to the 1 hour chart. So look at the correlation here. Like, look how crazy this is. So if we, if we move the BTC chart, let's just give that a little bit more of a vibe check so we can actually see it. There we go. There you go. Look, you're seeing it right now. You're seeing it right now. Can you please explain the candles? Yes. Green means price goes up and purple means price goes down. That's essentially it. So yeah, look at this. This was obviously this was Sunday, Monday. So Sunday into Monday. So this is obviously futures from last night. So it literally must open at the end of the stream. So maybe we hang on for a little bit and sort of see what futures do at the end of the stream, because that could be kind of fun. But look at this. So price of BTC dumps as oil futures pump. So if we were to get if we were to get another big move here on oil futures, as we are potentially starting to, get here, then this could align to BTC dropping, which could then mean that this short ends up being a pretty good trade. So again, we'll see what that looks like. Saudi Arabia built a pipeline through Oman into Arabian Sea that would solve any oil shipment problems and make Iran irrelevant. I mean, that's true. I mean, I do think there's an argument here for the fact that Venezuela kind of offsets that. The trouble you've got is China, Russia, and a couple of others are essentially being restricted. And I think that's why you get into this place where they'll do something. Like, we know that China's moving some ships over there. We know that it's like a little bit of an agenda. So, worthwhile, in my opinion, thinking about. Just worthwhile thinking about, because that's where it might get a little bit more tasty in the longer term. But, again, market futures could open, and that could then see BTC push down. I mean, it doesn't look like it's doing it at the minute right now, but yeah, worth thinking about. Okay, let's get rid of that and get rid of that. So just a dead quick one. If you are interested, by the way, let's take a look at how the bots were doing. They did actually not have a good day today. They were shorting the market, and then they came back. So net were up about 13 cents on the day. All right, not great in fairness. They did actually take a really bad trade on Uniswap, so I closed that one out and deleted the trade bot because it was worth. So currently 4 trades open here. We've got 2 shorts that aren't doing particularly well. We've got a long on Cake, which I'm hoping it's going to close pretty soon, and a short on BTC at 68,830. That was a interesting one. 91,444 liquidation price. So again, not the biggest trades in the world. We can actually add a new bot here, but I don't know if there's anything worth having. It's not doing the craziest numbers in the world, but yeah, I will have that potentially for some of you guys as a funded account if you are a premium channel member and you are in our premium Discord. So be part of that, and we'll maybe give you sort of some little privileges. So yeah, I did have the Uniswap. I mean, Tower. Can we get the Tower one? I might that'd be an interesting one. Oh, we can. Let's get the Tower one. Let's get the Tower. Let's get ready to rumble. Come on, Tau. Let's do that. Let's start the bot on a Tau one. Let's keep it good. Only because I started working with a company that does some stuff on Tau, which is kind of interesting. So let's see what it does. But anyway, that kind of gives you a view. But yeah, Curtis, I got you hooked up, bro. You're a premium channel member, aren't you? So also, by the way, Robert Dover, have you seen you've got the cool little like diamond 2 Bitcoins next to your name? I mean, that's fucking fresh if you ask me. Fresh. Robert Dover's got them, and I think there's someone else. I think maybe Obi's got them as well. But yeah, look fresh, bro. So yeah. Anyway, I'll keep you posted on this one as this plays through. Okay. Curioso. Right, what time are we on? 9:52. I feel like we should stick around though and see what happens. Let's go, Eve. Go Chiles. Fairground loves a bit of Chiles. Love that. 37. Look at that. Yeah, 37's got a fresh diamond one as well. Bro, that looks great on you. Looks great. Couponal Orange, that reminds me of Paint My Fence this year. Wasn't that? I can't remember the advert for Couponal. Like Ron Sale, just exactly what it says on the tin. I used to work for a team that we called ourselves Team Ron Sale. We just did what it said on the tin. Way easier. Way easier. All right. All right, folks. Let's open it up. You guys got any questions, any thoughts, any opinions, anything on your mind? Then let me know, and we can certainly sort of see what we got, see what the questions are. It'd be good to get some questions from you guys as I see and keep a close eye on what's going on out there in the markets. Because, like I said, we're not seeing too much. Oh, we're gonna look at futures, weren't we? Let's bring the futures price up dead quick. So we looked at this yesterday. So what have you got here? Wow. So Asia flipping the other way. Man, Asia's going bearish on world markets. Let's look at energy dead quick. Man, look at that. Holy shit. Commodities futures on oil expected to come down. Wow, that could be pretty spicy, you know. That could be really wild on market open. If you've got futures pricing in a potential rally, which it kind of is, and then the market's open and it tanks on the fact that Trump's basically saying that, yeah, it's going to be over. I mean, what the hell is that going to do to markets? Don't forget, CPI is coming Wednesday. I just think it's all a bit too obvious, in my opinion, but anyway, oil looks like it's going to come down, which is great. Metals, gold, looking like we're going to get a little tick up. Silver looks like that might tick up as well. Global markets, so Asia looks set to be pretty negative, which was the complete opposite to what we got last night. Asia was the one that was going to pump. Europe was pretty flat, but Europe actually looks like this may open up bearish. Probably all down to the whole like oil scenario. And then the US is like, oh, it's fine. Everything's going to the fucking moon. Look at the VIX, though. The VIX at nearly 13.5% expectation of change. That's pretty wild, if you ask me. It's pretty wild. I think Sui's getting ready to move up soon. Been watching the weekly close. Yeah, I mean, look, Sui, we've been chatting about Sui for a while. Could definitely get a spike. I mean, look at that 96. I mean, it's probably one of those, isn't it? If it breaks $1, you're probably golden, in my opinion. But yeah, I mean, you could argue, I mean, you're clinging at straws, aren't you? But pretty big cup and handle. Maybe that wicks down before then the push up to the upside. Maybe that's what happens. Maybe that's what happens. By the way, if you are brand new to trading or you are just wanting a little bit more, don't forget we have all of these full trading guys in our premium Discord. These are all absolutely free to anyone that's in there. These walk through some of the key charts that you might want to look at, some of the patterns and how they all play out. Head and shoulders with the bearish reversal. You got the inverse head and shoulder patterns. If you're brand new and you don't want to know what it's all about, double top, triple tops, triple bottom, ascending wedges, and how to trade them. Again, all of this is free in our premium Discord, which you can get by becoming a channel member here on YouTube or subscribing there on TikTok, or simply heading over to whoop.com and grabbing a membership through there. Again, gives you access to not just this guide. We also have 3 others: the How to Trade the 20-Day EMA, Trading Strategies PDF, and the Trading Indicators guide that you get for free. But that's not all. The 2 trading bots and insane stuff like potentially this kind of crazy funded account for a bot, which would be pretty cool as well. So, you know, just my opinion. All right. Don't have to. Again, you can join our totally free Discord, which is totally free. You just don't get access to the other stuff that we have. Sammy Silver, what's going on? Has anyone seen Caroline lately? She's trading over at Binance, I believe. I don't know. Trump isn't even Dutch, Pete. He's German and Scottish. There we go. Tim's going wild. But yeah, Sui might break out. Again, look at this. Where's it going to come down to? Potentially 96.28 before a break. I mean, that's a historical. Probably maybe a little bit lower. Maybe a little bit lower. You know, it's 95. I mean, look, I still, you know, my buy price is down here for Sui. So yeah, that's where my buy price is on Sui. And yeah, I mean, like I said, hype is, you know, certainly one to keep an eye out for. Look at this. That's an insane breakout on hype right now. Insane breakout that we called yesterday. You know, look at that. We said, didn't we? Break above this channel. Off it goes. You're looking at $36 probably before hype even starts to cool off, in my opinion, by the way. So you think Bitcoin going to pump tonight? I mean, look. The trouble you've got is, if I give my opinion, people hold it against me tomorrow. But, I mean, I don't necessarily think it's down to Bitcoin. I think it depends on what happens with oil, which we'll get a bit of a flavor for in about 10 minutes' time. So, if oil spikes, the general rule of thumb is BTC would come down. Now, probably a couple of things. If BTC does spike, let's say, for example, we do get a little spike here. Let's say it gets to around 69.4, 69.450 and is rejected, then I reckon it comes down. Just my opinion. I mean, you could argue that downward sloping trend line, that's what it's going to break. And it's going to break the 50 at 69.170, which it hasn't done yet. You know, if you look at the 4-hour chart, 69.170, it's tried twice, rejected. 170 would have been the high of this particular candle, which it didn't make. It made 152. So, yeah, at the minute, you would argue that potentially it's going to lose a bit of steam here on the day. The debate then is what happens tomorrow. That's going to be the big thing. Not a lot going on from a macro perspective. It's all about Wednesday, in my opinion. You get a little bit tomorrow. So we get ADP Employment Change Weekly, which is expectation around 12.75k jobs. That's just a report, by the way. It's not the actual US jobs data. And then obviously everything's about Wednesday. CPI expectations 2.5 on the core inflation year over year. It's expected at 2.5. It's flat. So, you know, it won't be this one that'll be a problem. It'll be the next month's read. That'll be the problem. The chart show telling you the end is here. Oil, huge bullish retest of the breakout. Stardog, are you saying the bottom's in, or are you saying we're going lower? That is the big question. I mean, that oil chart is absolutely wild, though. I mean, it's wild, if you ask me. It hasn't actually made a green candle. So 15-minute, you've got the reversal, I guess. If you print another 15-minute green candle. So, I mean, look at that oil trade. That is absolutely insane. As all the people that FOMO'd in on this are just getting drained all the way down, taking all of their money. It's bad news, really, if you think about it. It's bad news. Oh. Eve making good ground too. Yeah, I mean, look, the market is, I mean, if you're in a world of going, you know, where's the market right now? It's holding up. Like, it is holding up, but we've seen this so many times before. And that's why I'm still like, look, again, you can play this market sensibly. I'm still in a good proportion of spot bags, 50%. I sold at 108, 109. You guys know that. 50% into stablecoin about 108, 109. So whatever BTC is below that level, like, I'm cool. Like, I am cool. XRP sold at 148, right? It's 137 now. So, you know, but then the trade is what we're looking for as a potential. So I'm short on the market right now. My spot bags, if the market pumps, it's like, that's the best way to do it. That's the best way to do it. And, you know, my view is if you have got some stablecoin, then there's nothing wrong with starting to think about where your entry points in some of these coins are going to be. Stewie under $1. Great buy. Aerodrome, 32%. You're getting 15% APR as well. No brainer. You know, Jasmine, Junction at 10%. We talked about that move last week. Will there be financial clinging on at 10 cents? Could be a big mover and groover in the new year. You know, think about it that way. So yeah, I mean, oil is, my personal opinion is oil is kind of the crux that we're watching it. It'd be interesting to see what market opens look like. Two people, would you buy back into Aethia? I don't even know what the price is. What is the price of it right now? I mean, I lost a little bit of money, I think, on Aethia. I think. I'm watching this, by the way. Sorry, this is another one of my altcoin picks. Morpho. I think this mother trucker's going to do something. Where's Aethia at right now? Jesus. I mean, it's still doing 15 million, but yeah, this chart, I can already tell without even looking at this chart, it's going to be garbage. Yeah, I mean, I don't think so, if I'm honest. I mean, look at that trend, like, just as an example. I mean, that is just terrible, isn't it, if you think about it? Yeah, I don't think I would be buying back into this. Unless there's some sort of crazy, mega, super bullish news. But, I mean, yeah, this properly looks awful. By the way, I would definitely just take a look. If you are curious about any coins, take a look at Morpho, by the way. Let's have a look at it, see what you think. I think this one could be a very, very interesting project. It is actually very well priced right now. If you ask me, I think it probably comes back down, retest this like 150 range. Loads of good news with this. And look at these exchanges that it's not on. Yeah, it's on Coinbase. No Binance, you know, no Bybit, none of these, sorry, no, shit, what's the other one I'm thinking of? No Kraken, you know, it's got, you know, a couple of decent ones. So watch out. I think Morpho could be a pretty interesting one. In the bull market for sure, and lots of good stuff. Their V2 Vault just broke $1 billion. So yeah, check it out. Go watch that video. Like, I think that video's got some really good picks on there, and it talks to you about why I picked them as well. So yeah, have a look at that. I've never seen Brent be cheaper than WTI before. Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? It's crazy. 15-minute got the spike, but I mean, I'm not holding too much of my breath out there. So we'll see. I mean, futures markets are probably going to give us a bit of an open in just a minute, right? So all eyes on BTC and all eyes on oil right now, specifically oil futures. So let's see. Elon said, don't buy oil. I just think it's all just a little bit too coincidental. Like today, you had the highest spike on oil that we've seen for ages. And then like Trump comes out and he's like, it's absolutely fine. Don't stress it. Don't stress it with oil. What? Busy Fox, what's going on? Says hit the like button. Well-deserved channel. Thanks, mate. Hey, appreciate that, buddy. Thank you so much indeed. Yeah, we need all the likes we can get at the minute. I do not know what's going on with the old YouTube algorithm. It just hates me right now. So, you know, it is what it is. These times are meant for grinding, baby. So that's what we're going to do. All right, let's keep an eye on what's going on here in the futures market. So oil, we're interested in gold, silver, all starting to potentially sell off. BTC is, you know, kind of trying to wick back up a little at 68,897. So, yeah, we'll kind of wait and see what this one looks like. Maybe this tries to push back. Again, still in this channel right now, so not stressing this too much on this move right now. Looks like BTC is going to push down a little bit. which probably means we're going to get a little bit of a spike up here in oil. So let's keep an eye on it. Let's keep an eye on it. Don't forget, by the way, do drop your questions in the chat. Would appreciate any thoughts and views and opinions as we, as we kind of walk and talk through this stream. Would appreciate it. Time change isn't helping. Yeah, I know. It's all a bit messed up right now. It is all a bit messed up right now. But like I said, all I can do is just try and keep my eyes on the prize, keep grinding, keep working, and, fingers crossed it'll all come good right now. We have the live streams. It's all gravy. Do you know what I mean? Markets are terrible right now, so no one cares about the crypto market. But like we always say, these are the times when I should be very much all over this. Yeah, look at the BTC coming down right now. So we may close this trade out. Again, we'll see what this does. I think if it maybe wicks to 68.6, we'll see what this does. Maybe this ends up getting closed out. Why not? Might be a nice little close out here just to lock in, nearly 8% profit. It's not the biggest trade in the world, but again, we'll see what it does. Breakout from the downward channel. Again, if we can close here 5 minutes below, might end up being a kind of nice little trade here. So we'll keep an eye on it. 763. I want to see what oil futures are doing. That's going to be the crux right now. 98 would say spike. So we're starting to see a little bit of this start to open right now. So gold looks like it's pushing up. That's interesting. That's interesting. So yeah, seeing a spike back in BTC. So watch out for this one. Oil will likely go higher. Well, I think if oil goes higher, look, BTC right now struggling here on the lower resistance level here on this particular chart. So we'll see. Maybe this, rolls over and, wicks down. 68.6 might be a nice little trade there. Have I got a TP on this? I can't remember if I have. Have I got a take profit? I have got a take profit. Oh, we can kind of move this up a little bit, actually. There we go. There we go. Bring it to the screen, then I can at least see what's going on. But you could make 60% in a few days. That's true. Yeah, look, again, it's not the biggest trade in the world. So again, if you assume that this kind of trade's playing out, then we assume that we get a little bit more of a push back to the upside. So, arguably I could probably move the take profit to like here somewhere and just sit just below my initial, which essentially means it's a trade for free. It's probably out of this range. I could do that if I really, really wanted to, and, bring the take profit to there, for example. Which basically means, oh, the operation failed. Thanks for that. Which basically means, oh no, what am I talking about? The stop loss I could bring to like here as an example. And then I essentially mean this trade's free, doesn't it, right now? And but I think this probably wicks down a little bit further. So yeah, okay, let's see what's going on here. Oil is, and we're still not really getting this flow through. We got this way earlier last night. I feel like it was like 10 o'clock. We started to see this like spike here in the price, but we're not seeing it right now. Tim says, Corey, if they're doing anything, they might not be worth a bag. Corey? Who the hell is Corey? But you could make... Oh, yeah, I said that, didn't I? I'm not touching oil personally. No, it's not for me either. Not for me. Yeah, so oil futures still look way, way crazy overvalued, don't they? And 86.41 on a barrel, which is kind of interesting. Any breaking news? Not that I can see right now. Not that I can see. Nothing coming in. Griff and Crypto Princess liking some of my tweets, which is kind of nice. Yeah, no breaking news right now. No breaking news. BTC is, trying to rally back to the upside just a little bit. Just a little bit. So, yeah, why is that partial TP? I don't want a partial TP there. What? I want a stop loss. That's what I wanted to move there. What? There we go. There we go. So yeah, worst case, this trade's free now. So yeah, gold had better value than crypto. Yeah, former SEC chair Gary Gensler. Yeah, I think gold's yeah. Any meme you like at the moment? So kind of, but I'm really reluctant to be like, oh, go check this out. I had a really interesting call with someone who runs a meme coin today, and they have got some crazy shit lined up for it. Crazy shit lined up for it. And yeah, it's had a bit of a sell-off today, but yeah, stick around because as and when I can drop a little bit of alpha, I will. I'm just kind of working some stuff through with the team, but maybe is what I would say. Maybe what I would say. Trump says he wants to take over the Strait of Hormuz. Of course he does. Of course it does. Like I said, there's definitely some more traffic going through here. We got some nice oil tankers coming through. This one specifically, look, is currently doing 12.3 kilometers. Awesome show. Could you check if SNX? Yeah, I like how the fact you button me up first, and you're like, oh, this is the best show I've ever seen in my entire life. Please can you look at this coin for me. That'd be great. What is it? SNX. Have we looked at this before? I feel like we've looked at this before. SNX. I can't believe Gary Gensler's just told me that gold is better than crypto, and that you've taken the time to come to a crypto live stream and tell me that. Shout out to you. Damien says, what do you think of the FAI coin? Well, I don't even know what that is. Right, SNX looks like absolute trash. I think we've had this on the channel before. I definitely think we've looked at this before. It looks like garbage, all right? That's my opinion, and I'm entitled to it, but it looks terrible. And I have no idea why anyone would invest in this. It's 98.89% down from its all-time high, which, by the way, was $28. You must be out of your fucking mind if you're thinking of investing in that. Anyway, just my opinion. Gary is an algo, man. Gary loves the algo. He loves the algo. Right, FAI coin. What the hell is this? FAI. Freezer. I mean, it's slightly better than the one we just looked at, in fairness, but it still looks a little bit like dog water, personally. I mean, it's on Coinbase. Like, what? Wonder how a floating restaurant would be there. Like something out of Waterworld. It's paper. It's paper. I want something else. It's a paper. Spikes every few days. Oh, interesting. Interesting. I mean, I'm looking at the weekly charts, but I mean, yeah, it's if you can trade that from the bottom, then fair play to you. I mean, it's spiking right now a little bit, so I don't know why it's absolutely taking off right now, but yeah. I mean, it still looks a little bit terrible, but again, look, you can be invested in the worst coins. Someone once said to me, oh no, yeah, look, BTC pushed down. They said, oh, Mononoke Inu is like a literal joke. And I was like, you have to be joking if you think Mononoke Inu is like a good buy. And then literally it spiked the day after, and it was like they made about 50 grand or whatever crazy number it was. So yeah, wow. So we must be, are we getting something here on oil? Markets are pushing down right now, which, can't be surprised. So we don't have futures market open yet. So gold is spiking a little bit. Silver's up a little bit. Copper's down. BTC is pushing down right now. So yeah, we could end up with this nice little trade here at the bottom range. That'd be pretty nice if we got there. Like I say, we're about 8% here on this trade. It's not the biggest trade in the world, but yeah, it's still a reasonable trade here. 68,680. Probably wicks to around 68,620 maybe. I mean, if it breaks 620, like if it goes below here, then we might be golden here for a nice little push to this TP at the bottom here. We'll see. I'm off for sleep tonight, Curtis. All good tomorrow, Pete. Don't worry about it, bro. Don't worry about it. But yeah, if we don't get that spike, maybe it can come back in. But again, hopefully this breaks down below the channel. It's crazy. That's why shorting the market's like the worst thing, because you're like, I want the market to dump. I want it to dump into oblivion. Breaking news, Gary Gensler caught with his hands around his ankles. Out there. Out there. Here we go then. BTC is pushing down. It looks like it might want to break through that support line. So yeah, I mean, I'm down for it. I'm down for it. We'll take the trade if it comes. If it gives us the apples, we'll take them. We will take them. So yeah, look at this. And then, I mean, like I said, we're not seeing anything. So oil's not oil. What time is the oil market open? 477 here on oil futures. Again, dropping down right now. Brent oil futures look crazy still, which is wild. I thought it would already have opened by now, but maybe not. Maybe not. New York, 8 p.m. Pre-opens at 7:45. What time is it now? 6 o'clock. It should be open then, right? President Trump just said Epic Fury will be ending soon. Yeah, I mean, he did, but again, you'd have to see. 8% of your 7-digit entry isn't a bad profit. I mean, that's true, Curtis. That's why all of this is just the groundwork, isn't it? It's getting ready for that. I mean, yeah, if you think an 8% on a 120K would be pretty decent, wouldn't it? Be pretty decent. So, yeah. Like I said, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, market's trying to push back up a little bit, but see where this one plays out. Yeah, wicking back up now, which is kind of interesting. So yeah. Trump's hair is now gun control, folks. Oh no, not the Trumperino. Not the Trumperino. Yeah, market's kind of pushing back up. I mean, if it wicks back into the straight, then yeah, you know, you could take another short here quite comfortably. Like, wick back up, down it goes. Maybe that's the play. Right. Anyway, so we're definitely not seeing anything in oil. Oil futures should have opened right now, but hey, is what it is. Is what it is. All right. Well, that, ladies and gentlemen, probably brings us somewhat near to the end of the stream. If you haven't already hit the like button, by the way, I would massively appreciate that. That would be good. What time is it? Yeah, about 10:15. So yeah, we probably are due to get out of here. BTC 68,761, about to retest this lower range. Look at this here on the 15-minute chart. I mean, if you get a rejection here, then yeah, we could see a pretty interesting move right now on the market. Now, this would invalidate the uptrend. So break down below this. Look at the 20 crossing here, 68,713. Look for the break below that. If it does, then, you know, watch out. Like, this is bearish. We're under the 200 EMA. Push down here in the market. Could end up being pretty tasty. Obviously, we'll keep an eye on what's going on here on the bot, which, again, it's not done anything else just at the minute. Has it done any trades recently? BTC. I mean, the short's starting to print a little bit. It needs to close this cake strategy right now. So we'll keep you guys on that. WTI just dropped to 86.75. Ooh, interesting. Interesting. Yeah. So oil, yeah, 472 on the futures, on the entire futures market as well. So yeah, 6.7 on yeah, so yeah, look, Brent oil futures are starting to drop. That might be an interesting close then on that BTC trade. Maybe. I mean, look at that. Yeah, spikes back up as the oil futures open. So yeah, maybe this starts to push down a little bit. Again, see what happens. You want oil futures to go up, and then PTC probably comes down. So yeah, worthwhile thinking about. All right, everybody. Well, thank you so much for tuning into the channel. I appreciate it. Bad news, by the way, I won't be live tomorrow night. I apologize. Because I have a work thing. So you guys know I'm presenting on Wednesday. So I won't be live tomorrow night. I'm actually out, unfortunately. But I will be back on Wednesday night with the latest and greatest. Probably isn't a bad thing, in fairness. I'm struggling for motivation just a little bit on my video content. So I'll take a night off. I think it'll probably be a good idea. And then we'll be back Wednesday night with the live stream. So yeah, I won't be here tomorrow night. Tomato Pete's like, what? Bro, I've got to absolutely do the 9 p.m. The 9 to 5 has to happen right now, because if it doesn't, then yeah, we've got a problem. I can't rely on this fucking crypto market, can I? Or this YouTube planet. Do you know what I mean? It's all a bit fucking bullshit right now. But anyway. And glow sticks, yes. And did you do your, yeah, I've done my wagtail, but I don't think people think it's funny, but I'm just going to send it and see what happens. But yeah, as always, thanks, Griff. I appreciate that. We're back Wednesday night with the latest and greatest. So make sure you've hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel as well if you're brand new. We'll be back 4 p.m. Eastern and looking as bullish as ever. So have a great day, everybody. Catch you live back here on Wednesday night. Thank you so much. Look out for some content coming tomorrow. I'd appreciate it if you watched it. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, all that kind of good stuff. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Catch you soon.